Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I am super excited because we are continuing my productivity themed videos. So last time I talked all about how I personally plan out my days, and if you haven't seen that video yet, you should totally check it out. I'll have it linked down below. But today we are going to talk about how you can make a writing schedule that you will actually stick to. Number one, you need to figure out what planning method works best for you. This is just going to depend on you and what kind of planning style that you like, and you don't need to hear about mine because you've already seen my planning video, right? For me personally, I like my schedule to be very flexible, and I like for it to be very different every day. I know that some people like to have set schedules, but for me that just does not work at all. I tend to get bored when I have a set schedule, which is why I like to have a different schedule every week and every day. It just keeps things more interesting for me personally, but that doesn't work for everyone, so you have to do whatever the fuck works for you. It doesn't really matter, just make sure that you are finding a system that works for you, and this is going to take a lot of just experimenting and trial and error, and that's completely fine. I would just recommend at least giving a method maybe a week or so, and then after a week, if it really just doesn't work for you, then you can always try something else. But I would not spend money on planners or bullet journals unless you actually think that it's going to work for you. And my second tip for you is to find your high time. I'm pretty sure that there's like a specific word, and I'm pretty sure that there's some science behind it, but basically we all have our high times, and these are just times where you are a lot more productive and you probably have a lot more energy than you do at other times in the day. And it's not that you can't work outside of your high times. I mean, you're probably going to have to work outside of your high times at some point, but it would be wise to just kind of strategically plan out what you're going to do during your high times. For example, let's say you have 3 main things that you have to do one day, and let's say you have to write, edit a video, and do a project for school. Now, let's say that you hate video editing. It takes you forever and the time just drags. Honestly, same. So in my opinion, it would be wise to try and edit that video during one of your high times, just because you are going to have more energy to edit that video, and you're also going to be able to probably do it a lot more faster since you are in that high time, and plus that means that you will be tortured for less amount of time. But on the flip side, let's say that you have to write perhaps some Instagram content and update your website. That sounds like a fun day, honestly. And let's say that you honestly love doing all of those things, but the writing is going to be the most time consuming of them. I would recommend to write during your high time of that day, just because then you're probably going to be able to write a lot faster, because again, in your high time you just have more energy and you're a lot more productive. Because honestly, trust me, try it out, because I can typically write maybe 1,000 words per hour, but when I'm at my high time, I have written up to 2,500 words. It is actually insane, so I would highly recommend for you to try out working during your high time. It can save you a lot of time, and plus it's a lot of fun and you feel amazing afterwards, but you also might feel very tired after. So whatever, work during your high time if you can. It will help you. And my third tip for you is, when you're goal setting, to make sure that you both have long-term and short-term goals. The reason for this is simple. If you only have long-term goals, then the finish line is miles upon miles away. But if you only have short-term goals, you kind of might just be like, well, what's the point? And in my case, that might actually fuel your procrastination, and that is never a good thing. So setting both long-term and short-term goals are usually a really good idea. Now, I would recommend that you make your long-term goal prior to making your short-term goal, just because the long-term goal is probably going to be more obvious to you, and it's a lot easier to break up a long-term goal into smaller goals than to make a series of short-term goals into a longer goal. And let's be honest, you probably already know your long-term goal. So for example, let's say that you want to write a book in a year, and let's say that you think that this book is going to be 100,000 words. One way that you could break up this goal is you could divide it by 12, since there are 12 months in 1 year. Then you only have to write about 8,333 words that month. That is a lot easier and more manageable and a ton less overwhelming than saying that you need to write 100,000 words in 1 year. And number 4, if you don't feel like writing, use a reward system. This is going to help you with a writing schedule, just because sometimes you do have this schedule, but you really don't want to do it. And in this case, a reward system can be a great option. And you have 2 options for the rewards that you want to do. The first one is what I call fun rewards. So this is stuff like watching a show on Netflix, watching a YouTube video, eating ice cream, what the fuck ever. And then your second option is what I call productive rewards. For example, let's say you really want to outline, but you have to film 3 videos. So after you film those videos, then you can start to outline your book. And yes, outlining is technically work, but if you really want to do it, but it's not on your to-do list for the day, it can definitely feel like a reward. And you can really use either of these rewards and however often you would want, but I would recommend to try to not have to always set rewards for yourself and only do it when you really don't want to do it, because at least in my opinion, I think that after a while it gets, I don't know, a little exhausting setting all of these rewards, and sometimes I feel like you can get dependent on the rewards, but it's up to you. It's your life. Do whatever the fuck you want and whatever is going to help you achieve your goals. And lastly, number 5, just stick to it. Listen, once you have a schedule, you need to keep yourself accountable and you need to stick to it. One of the reasons that my planning system is working so well for me, and one of the reasons that I actually stick to my schedule, is because I don't give myself an option not to. I don't let myself procrastinate because that's not an option. I've got shit to do. This is the mindset that you need to get into. No, it's not always fun, and sometimes people can take this too far to where they never really let themselves breathe, and that is not healthy. You need to take breaks, but you also need to stick to your goddamn schedule because you made it for a reason. So that's all that I've got for you guys today. I hope it was helpful, and what this comes down to is you just need to do the thing and stick to your schedule, but you can't really get there unless you make the schedule in the first place. And if you want to see how I made my schedule, I will have my video linked down below. Please do go and check it out. It's amazing. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please give this video a big thumbs up and hit that big red subscribe button down below and turn on those post notifications so that you know every time that I upload. And yeah, that's all I've got. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.